Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. Well, this video has been a long time coming, and I can't believe I haven't done this yet because we get this question all the time. How do I use Sadillac? Well, the second question I always get is, we understand it's your favorite top coat, but you never use it in your videos. Well, the reason there, big ventilation. We've got to have good ventilation, but at the same time, there's a couple of little tricks to make this work just right, but when it does, it's my absolute choice for ease of application, speed of drying, and consistency. I can't say enough. So let's step over to our pattern table. Let's just talk about a couple of the tricks to making our Sadillac work. I mentioned 3 of the reasons why I like the Sadillac. Well, ease of application, consistency, and dry time. Well, that's good for a production shop, but for us crafters, 2 big points. First off, not going to change our dye color. But secondly, adding paint to a project, this has always been a problem because with most top coats, at some point, we've got to rub or buff. That creates issues with our paint. Secondly, it's hard to get a consistent finish between paint and top grain. Sadillac is going to take care of both of those issues. This is a project we've done in a video, Angry Cow. But also, no buffing. We don't have to rub or buff on this. We spray it on and we walk away. Now, on the bottle it says high gloss. Well, it's a lacquer-based product, so it can be. I don't like a high gloss finish. Well, we can take care of that. If we apply this correctly, it'll be a medium to low gloss. But also, ventilation. I know I've already said that, but it bears repeating. We need good ventilation with this because just a simple spray, half a second spray in our shop, we will smell that the entire day. Now, with this, the 2 tricks. We cannot have this bottle cold. It needs to be room temperature or a little above. But secondly, the biggest trick is how we apply this. So let's step over to our main table and see how this works. The majority of the top coats out there are either a conditioner or a sealant, or sometimes both. We want to protect the leather from the elements. Actually, I have a little bit different opinion on that. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. The point is, the Sadillac is neither a conditioner nor a sealant. Now, it can be a sealant if we go that heavy, but that creates all kinds of problems. We're going to go very light. It is simply a top coat, but it's going to give us a good, even finish. So with this, the best way to apply this, let's keep a rag in our left hand. We'll see why here in just a second. And on our can, we want to hold this out about maybe 8 to 10 inches. And it never hurts to try to test a little bit just to make sure we've got a good spray. It's a nozzle and it's a lacquer base. So what I want to do, I want to hit a line or a band about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches. So again, 10 inches out, about 25 centimeters, and about 1, maybe 1 1/4 inch. So with a belt, let's say we're doing a strap here, I'm going to come in at an angle because that way I can hit the top grain and the edge of the belt as well. So what I'm going to do is come down 1 pass and back. And let's clean our nozzle. And we'll explain that in just a second. On this side, down and back. That's it. I'm going to walk away from it. Now, we've got our rag in our hand because, again, aerosol lacquer, it's going to spit. So if we just clean our nozzle every time we make a pass, it's not going to spit on us. If it does, it's no crisis. Here's why. If we get a little spot, all we have to do is take that rag and just lightly dab that. It'll disappear. We'll never see it. But also, being an aerosol and a lacquer base, it's not a bad idea to keep some tape really tight on that nozzle. That'll just keep the lacquer from drying out. So when we jump over to a larger panel, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to try to hit a band about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inches. And there we go, one little quick, and that looks good. So let's give these about a minute, maybe minute and a half. Let's see how they look. I think that was about 1 minute, maybe less. Absolutely dry, beautiful, consistent. Everything I'm looking for in a top coat. Just as a comparison, this is a pair of gussets for a briefcase I'm working on. Yeah, all the difference in the world. And our strap, that looks good. Couple more notes, let's talk about those. I mentioned I have a different opinion of top coats. Well, here's why. I don't like a heavily sealed leather. It's a rainy day, we've got our briefcase, we're walking to our car. Moisture is going to get into that leather no matter how sealed it is. Edges, oblongs, round holes, chisel holes, needle holes, moisture is getting in. Where I'm going with this is I want to choose a top coat that's going to allow that moisture to get back out. Perfect example. I made this gun belt years ago. I was at an event. This was sitting on the tailgate of my truck. Half of this belt was covered with something. I don't know which half, and you'll see why here in just a second. But out of nowhere, it started to pour. Half of this gun belt got soaking wet. My first thought, totally ruined. I'm going to have to make another one. Actually, once it dried out, I can't tell which side got rained on. This is a Sadilac top coat. So the point here is that Sadilac, well, it didn't really protect the water from going in, but it certainly allowed it to wick out and evaporate to a point where I don't even see a stain. Speed, consistency, dry time, Sadilac does everything I'm looking for and more. It's my favorite top coat, and I hope you feel the same way. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.